Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John, here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
It's a one-game week. Exeter City away, lost 1-0 to Linkin Park.
Yes.
New Metal finally made a comeback.
What did they do again?
New Metal.
Yeah, what was their song?
They did that song with Jay-Z, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. I can't remember any of the song titles of them now. Oh,
Encore? Is that Encore?
Encore une fois. That's Sash.
No. Encore, do you want more? Isn't that what Jay-Z says?
Hardcore, you know the score.
No.
I don't know. Oh, In the End. That's one of their ones.
Oh,
Linkin
yeah,
Park.
in the end, that is one. Yeah.
And, yeah. Sadly, no longer with us.
No, he the singer died, didn't he?
Singer died.
Sadly, also, Gary Caldwell's still with us.
Yes.
Because this was Caldwell ball at its lowest ebb, I would suggest.
Even he admitted it was shit.
Yeah.
Which is like,
Big of you, Gary.
But that's quite rare. Bear in mind the amount of terrible games there's been.
Yeah.
This one he actually sort of went like, yeah, that wasn't very good. Whereas usually he just sort of says, I need to get back on the training pitch with some good moments.
No, he normally says, I thought the boys are excellent.
So there's good we created good moments in the scoring zone.
Yeah.
The finishers.
Have you ever been to Scotland?
Semper Fidelis.
Yeah. Yes, that's how he finishes.
Yeah. I'd like it if he did sign off every single bit of media with that.
Yeah.
Semper, I mean, you brought it up, mate. Everyone else who supported Exeter City sort of had forgotten that I was even anything to do with anything.
Yeah.
You're the one who brought it back. At least have the strength of your convictions to say it out loud at every given opportunity.
You know West Ham supporters and players do that stupid, like, crossed irons thing.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is totally new, made-up crap.
I don't know the history of that.
Bobby Moore wasn't doing it, was he?
Don't remember Moore doing it, no.
Anyway, I wonder if Gary could get on board with this, but instead, obviously, we don't have crossed hammers. He could pretend to be like a horse, like do the kind of upright horse kind of pose.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for Dan. It's
They're not
translating
really
well.
horses, are they, though?
I'm doing it again.
Yeah, they're not horses, that's what I'm saying.
What
are
are they?
Well, haven't they got sort of fish legs?
Fish legs? No, they've got unicorn wings, if anything. Fish legs.
I'm pretty sure they've got fish tails.
Fish tails?
Haven't they?
The Exeter horses you're talking about?
Yeah.
Fish tail. If they have, I'll eat my own.
Well, they've got something going on.
horses.
They're not straight up horses.
No, I think they've got wings.
Oh, they've got wings. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, okay. There's no fish tail.
No, that goes down as dodgy a claim as me saying the Beatles wrote. I like driving in my car.
I'm not sure it's as bad as that.
Right, fair enough. No, it's just a normal horse. It's badly drawn. You're right. I can see why you think it looks like a fishtail.
No, I mean, no. I was just imagining that. I didn't think it looked like that.
Okay.
That was in my mind's eye. I knew they had something weird that's fantastical. It
Anyway,
turns out it was wings.
Yeah. Anyway, listeners, have a look at those horses' front hooves.
Right. You want him to sort of rear up
Yeah. It's exactly what I want him to do.
and shout Semper Fidelis.
Yeah, please, and
Okay.
then do a kind of whinny.
I mean, it's not like he's
He could be a literal show pony.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't make that much difference, would it? If he did do that, it's not like he'd completely ruin his reputation.
No. Semper Fidelis.
Yeah. So it was.
Yeah. Anyway,
It was really bad. It was. I mean, not. We only lost 1-0.
Yeah.
It's not a good result. Against Lincoln weren't really any good either. No rhythm at all. Nothing. A weird team to start with.
Yeah.
Five changes. So Yannick's in.
Which I thought was a thing of the past, really.
Cox is in.
Yeah. Which I also thought was a kind of a thing of the past.
And then Niskanen out, and Rankin was back in, wasn't he? And
Issa not starting.
Yeah, I can only I think Caldwell's kind of like, we've got a bit of a squad now, and we can do a bit of rotating, which I'm broadly kind of like in favour of. I think we probably should have done. We definitely could have done with that in the past. Now we've got the squad to do it. It's just I feel like this wasn't the right move today. But then that's fine. It's fine to kind of like, kind of make a squad selection and then think, this hasn't gone the way we planned. But then he doesn't really do anything to change, and it leaves us so long to change it.
Yeah, what time did Issa come on?
I mean, it's just nothing's before 60 minutes ever, is it? Just like you can change stuff at half time.
Well, you could do something mad and change it after half an hour if you wanted to.
What was working about that? You know, what did you think was worth persevering with that?
Yeah,
and it's just absolutely abject. I think the whole season, it's a bit like, I think probably that we are in danger of getting dragged back into stuff. I mean, we need to improve quickly the weekend, and maybe we will. But I can see us just sort of kind of clinging on and, you know, getting over the line and surviving, which I suppose was the target for the season. But it's just been sort of thoroughly unenjoyable from the beginning, and even when we pulled some form back, and like there was moments of it I did enjoy some of the matches, you know, like the Bristol Rovers game where we're, you know, that's when we had a pair sent off, right? And then was that the one? We were down to 10, and then we had to kind of like battle. No, that was against somebody else. Anyway, just some of these battling performances have been enjoyable, but it's not like it's been. But it's not, the football hasn't been enjoyable, and we haven't scored any goals. And that's why people watch football, isn't it? You want to see the team you support score a goal, and like at a kind of base level, and we're just not getting that. It's like 22 games this season we haven't scored.
Yeah. I mean,
it's getting to the point where I don't think should we even bother doing this podcast? You mean, like, what's the point? It's like sucking all the joy out of everything.
You say that, but I just did an impression of a horse.
Well, yeah, but we'll have to rely on that kind of content, aren't we? We're going to have to talk about, oh, have you seen this bloke who works in this shop? You know, like that's.
You know that journalist Rory Smith, who writes books as well, and he wrote a book about Klopp, and he's just written a book about expected goals, right? And I really think he's kind of on it. He really understands kind of football, and he said the reason football's so great and the reason Americans don't get it was a broad swathe of a brush stroke of a judgment, was like there aren't many goals, but there are some goals. So you're not like rugby or American football where you're like, or basketball where you're like, oh, another one.
Yeah.
It's like the anticipation and then the getting it. Whereas with City at the minute, there is the anticipation. So our friend was all excited about the new players. Oh, you know, new players going to excite. And I couldn't get excited because I felt like it's just so unlikely to happen. Like goals, you know. And yeah, we get some goals, but it's, yeah, like you say, all those games without anything. And not like, oh, we've been so unlucky or it's absolutely wonderful football, but they're trying so many ridiculous things, it just doesn't turn into that many goals. It's just like, don't know what to do with it.
Well, it's like there's a real lack of creativity. Do you mean? I think that's part of the problem. Yeah, like like on another day we could have got something out of that game because Lincoln, like you said, weren't particularly good, and they only scored the one.
Yeah,
you know, and Jack Aitchison hit the bar.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like he had all the time in the world. Really should have taken a touch, if you ask me.
Hit it at the keeper, didn't he?
But, yeah, we're just like, it's not even like most of the time there's not even like a threat of a goal, because that kind of gets you excited.
That's right, exactly that.
You can watch a 0-0 that's still like really entertaining, and other people who don't like football might be like, how could you sit through that? You know, like there's not even no goals happened, and it's like, but sometimes that can be it's still really exciting.
Absolutely.
But what we're seeing now isn't.
Well, Man U Luton yesterday, you watch it?
No.
Well, all the goals were done within 15 minutes, but then you had 75 minutes of actually really interesting, exciting games. So yeah, we get that. I don't know, because I don't know how to do this, and I don't think it's done for League One, but City's expected goals must be absolutely rock bottom.
No, it's not as low as you think.
Isn't it?
No, I think
because of possession in the third.
The weekend it was like 0.39 or something, and then the Lincoln's being 0.9 or something like that.
Right, okay.
We're nowhere near the bottom. That's what I don't really understand about it. It's like
it's to do with possession in certain places.
Maybe it is. Yeah, maybe that's how they collate it, and because we're such an odd team, aren't we?
Well, I suppose we did have that one shot on goal, didn't we? I suppose.
Well, we had several shots on goal.
Yeah, sorry, the one that.
But none that were even like I think it was Harris blazed one over the top.
Yeah.
No Reece Cole in the starting lineup here either. No, like you said, no Mo Issa. Maybe it's a match fitness thing. They've really had to kind of like present it to us with all these new signings as because they'd so heavily relied on the fact that the reason our form was so bad was because we didn't have these signings in, right? Which I'm not sure whose fault that was, but certainly wasn't the supporters.
Well, it was definitely not Gary's fault. That was the line, wasn't it?
But it definitely wasn't the supporters' fault anyway, so they were the ones complaining. So maybe they just had to make a really big deal. Like, look, we've got them. But the reality is, like, no, none of these are actually ready to play. But we're going to have to sort of, play them a bit, because otherwise people are going to, riot or, be annoyed. Because otherwise I don't really understand it.
No.
I don't really I don't get it. I mean, I think maybe he's thinking, what, Lincoln is shit, so we don't need Moisa.
But then
Cox was in good form before he arrived. Maybe give him a start. I mean, you can kind of half explain it, but where's Ryan Woods? We've seen him a couple of times.
Yeah, absolute cameos.
Cameo appearances.
Yeah.
You think Tom Carroll is like someone who's, he's played so many games recently. Is he not someone that you think maybe rotate him? Rather than, and then Reece Cole does get rotated. I don't know what. And then Harris is another one where we're supposed to be told that,
world's greatest player.
Yeah, and then it just drops him into midfield, deep midfield 2 with Tom Carroll, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit depressing, isn't it, all around?
Yeah, no, it's just...
and then no Hartridge on the bench, no Kite on the bench. There's a couple of academy. Former first teamers, and I know they're not, but neither of them have set the world on fire this season, but not even on the bench. Yeah. Should we talk about their goal?
We can talk about it. So it comes to Sweeney, and he just basically passes it back into the line of a man running through, doesn't he? But
kind of tries to knock it inside, doesn't he? Square, but and then a Lincoln player just runs onto it. But yeah, I mean, it got quite a lot of criticism, and he has given the ball away. It led to a goal, and he could have looked after it better. But yeah, Cech and Jules both go to the ball for this. They have one striker there, anticipating the pass, and they both go to him.
Yeah.
Rather than one waiting, they don't need to do that, and the other one could have picked up the run of the guy who eventually gets the ball. Anyway, I don't think it's entirely Sweeney's fault. He didn't have the greatest game. He didn't have the greatest game when he came on last week either, did he? But I'm not sure we should. I'm personally not that fussed about a slight drop and a few mistakes out of Pierce Sweeney. We were never going to get them.
I don't really understand. We've got a lot of centre backs, right?
Yeah.
And what we're getting is Aimson was clearly made to feel. I feel bad for him, and I think we talked about this last week, didn't we? He had a good game against Derby. No, was it Derby or the week before?
Yeah,
anyway,
it was against Derby, yeah.
And people were kind of, he's done fine there, and actually it was unnecessary for him to be booed. It's not his fault that Coldwell made him captain. It's not his fault that people see him as the epitome of the Coldwell era. But then it all fell away, didn't it? And then he's not even on the bench, and it looks like he's leaving. And then back comes Sweeney. But we've got other centre backs like Hartridge just kind of disappearing. Jack Fitzwater.
Well, no, he's got Crohn's.
I know he's got Crohn's, but
we can't play with that.
We brought him in, and presumably he's always had Crohn's.
Right.
I just don't understand.
Could always just do the old Tom Parks.
I think Crohn's is more serious than
is it?
Needing the loo. But yeah, it just feels like, what about this is a cohesive piece of work? Like, that the players are aware they can progress. I don't think it's any surprise that they're leaving in their droves.
Yeah, I don't think it is a finished piece of work either. Do you mean? I think it takes a while. Matt Taylor took a while to get a lot of players in and a lot of players out before it finally kind of found something that gelled. Maybe we should be affording Gary a bit more leeway on the squad building side of it. It's just and then you've got to remember as well that with the bringing players in from the academy, it's like they're having to come into a League One side now rather than a League Two, which is always the case under Matt Taylor. And but I just think specifically with Kite and Hartridge that they're both kind of like established first team players. I mean, they've both done a fair bit of League One, so they kind of I don't. It's just it's not something I specifically am like outraged about, or even necessarily think Hartford should be playing and Kite should be playing because they're academy graduates. I just think it kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like,
I feel like we've got this aroma.
I don't feel good about it.
I feel like there's this aroma or like legacy or this kind of atmosphere of Coldwell considers himself an expert, like top-notch football manager, right? The board have bought into that. The players are being asked to play one way and only one way. Like, even when he shifts it round a bit, it's still this possession game of patience. And if we do that properly, we'll see results.
Oh, yeah, he's unwavering.
He's unwavering. But this is kind of stalemate then, because the players obviously don't really buy into that. Like, because we're seeing this fairly steady trend of players either being let down or moving away. And then the supporters aren't really buying into that because it's pretty dire football terms. And although we're pleased to survive in League One, and we are, it's not so outlandish that we should do that we're prepared to accept any football at all costs. This isn't Sheffield United in the Premier League or Luton in the Premier League. This is actually probably not far off our level. We're top of League Two, bottom of League One, right? So we've got this weird stalemate of like, it's not so bad that we need kind of wholesale change, but yet it's nowhere near good enough for anyone to be happy with it.
Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, where do you? Yeah, where's the line drawn? Do you mean because like I said earlier, and like we've said it all along, and everyone kind of agreed that the goal is to stay in the division. Do you mean like? I mean, how far? Yeah, and then where is the bar of acceptability of? Is there anything in between those two things? Acceptable up, unacceptable down. Do you mean is there any kind of grey area there? Do you mean? And I think we're not. I mean, if there is one, we can't be that far off it. You know.
Yeah.
Because you just want to see like a bit more intent. You know, I think the players do buy into it, but I think it's kind of an easy sell. I mean, it won't last forever if we're never scoring any goals.
Yeah.
But it kind of inflates some of the. I mean, not the whole squad. Players like Hartridge and people like Kite maybe thinking like, oh, I've had enough of this. You know, like. But the ones who are being picked or will be thinking like, oh yeah, he thinks I can do it. I'm a. You know, Coldwelliola thinks we're capable of doing this, and in patches we we could do bits of it.
You know, I get it. Like if we won the league, winning every game 1-0, I get that. But
yeah, that's what Mourinho did at Chelsea, and everyone loved
did at Chelsea. But we're so far off that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, if we were kind of like in the automatic places or the playoff places, and we've been playing this kind of like. Let's say the same type of football we were playing now, but it was working really well, and we were kind of like drawing all our away games 0-0 and winning all our home games 1-0.
Yeah,
and we were up there. You'd go like, yeah, this isn't hardly exciting, but the winning feeling would make up for that. I mean, I think it's the combination of being like really inconsistent. Still flirting on the edges of the relegation sort of like bottom half of the table anyway, and then also just not really getting much out of it in terms of enjoyment.
I think if there was this sense of like progression, but a game like Saturday feels like a game from November. Like, oh yeah, we had possession, but the players weren't really up to it. It's not my fault, and. Yeah, we gave away a goal. So you know what I mean? Like we spent all the money.
Oh well, he did say it was his fault, so I don't think we can level that at him.
But I don't know. I don't understand why he's made that mistake. Like, don't make 5 changes. Use the people you've bought in. This is where the money's going. This is what the turning point was supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just a bit bemused by that. After so many, like, fine, Derby was a write-off. They were a really good team. But the rest of the results, then why have we gone back to this nonsense?
They had a little fans forum the other day as well, didn't they? Did you see that?
I didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it, but I saw kind of like some of the minutes or whatever, and Marcus Flitcroft gave everyone an explanation. Marcus Flitcroft mansplained to everybody about the new transfer window.
And?
Well, it's just, I don't know who didn't know this information. Do you mean?
What, that it's hard in January? Kind of thing? Right.
And then the reasons for it being hard, which is, again, I don't... everyone knew that. I don't think that was ever anyone's complaints, was it?
I think
people were saying, why didn't you get them before?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, obviously, there's a couple of people on January this 1st going, how come you haven't shown any strikers yet? But why are you paying any attention to them?
Yeah.
There's other opinions out there which you seem to be like, they're not being addressed, but you're only going to, we've got to address the opinion of Sharon and Jeff on Facebook, who want to kill Gary Caldwell because we haven't signed anyone or something. Do you mean like?
Yeah.
Don't worry about them.
Yeah.
Ignore them. But yeah,
I mean, our concern is, Marcus, what are we going to do this summer to stop the same thing happening again? Let's say we manage to scrape together our 50 points, which probably on the...
He might well have said something about that, to be honest. Should have watched it. If I was going to bring it up, I should have watched it. But
well, that's our concern, isn't
do
it?
have, other things to do.
Do you?
Some.
Fine.
I'll tell you about another thing I'm going to do when we come on to talking about next week's game. I won't be there.
Yeah, you're voting with your feet.
I'm going to watch QPR against Rotherham.
The Super Hoops and Nombe.
Hoping to see a bit of Nombe. I don't think he's even playing a huge amount.
Yeah.
He sort of comes on for about 10 minutes at the end.
Why are you taking your traitorous attitude up there?
Well, I'm not deliberately. I mean, I was going to London.
Oh, okay.
And then it ended up being a thing to do whilst I was there.
Sure, Loftus Road.
That's the main reason I want to go, really.
Yeah.
I haven't been there.
Fair enough. All right, well, I'll be there.
I mean, I'm not sure it's going to be much better than Exeter City versus Fleetwood, to be honest.
No, but they're very
both
similar things.
Terrible as well, aren't they?
Yes.
QPR and Rotherham, but yeah.
Okay, well, we'll talk about next week in a second. Welcome back to the Big Bang Theory podcast. You can email us, bigbankpod@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter @BigBankPod, and we're on Facebook as well, of course. The league, well, Exeter City are in 14th. We've played more games than almost everyone, maybe, in fact, more than anyone except Portsmouth. We're on minus 22 goal difference, and we've got 39 points from 34 games. So we're in 14th, but actually everyone below us has played less games. Some have played 4 less games.
Yeah.
The bottom 2, of which Fleetwood are 1, who are coming up on Saturday, look fairly well adrift. But then Port Vale in 22nd are they're on 31 points, so 8 points behind us. And again, that goal average being so poor could it's definitely worth another point to most of the teams chasing us.
Yes, Port Vale, having said that, haven't won in a fair old while.
Sure.
So,
Sure, I understand that.
Doesn't matter how many games you got in hand if you're going to lose them all.
No, that's true. I just think the league position of 14th doesn't really give the whole picture.
No, it could well end up being a false position. Yeah, I mean, you'd always rather have played the games and be where you are, but there's a chance that that's not where we'll be. After some of those games are played. Yeah,
there's some this week, isn't there?
Is there?
Yeah.
What Tuesday?
Just some Tuesdays.
No Tuesday for us though.
Newsday.
Just a Saturday against Fleetwood.
Yeah, Fleetwood at home, St James Park.
Fleetwood have won two matches a little while ago.
Yeah. And
other than that, have barely won all season.
Stockley's there still,
of
course.
They did beat us, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right.
So they're one of the teams they have beaten. Stockley's still there, yeah.
I'm amazed to find out that their manager's Charlie Adam.
Right, yeah.
You might recall from Stoke City and Liverpool, wasn't he, for a bit?
Yeah, I first remember him turning up with Blackpool, I think.
That's right, Blackpool, yeah. Yeah.
Ian Holloway's Blackpool.
That's right.
Did he score a goal from a long way out or something at one point?
Yeah.
Something like that?
He's good with the free kicks, wasn't he? And I think he scored an absolute...
I feel like I've seen him... In fact, who did he play for? Because he's played against us, hasn't he? I've seen him at St James Park. I feel like I have.
Maybe. He went back to Scotland, didn't he? After... I couldn't tell you where he's been.
So it's another battle of the Scotsmen.
Yeah. Charlie Adam is. I mean, if Colwell's prickly, Charlie Adam is 10-foot tall cactus.
Colwell's not prickly.
Well,
if anything, he's cuddly.
No, he's prickly on the sideline, isn't he?
I don't know if he's prickly.
All right, fair enough. We might have seen him play for Reading, perhaps. Or maybe he was in that Liverpool team. He might have been when they came down with...
Yeah, maybe it was that.
But yeah, it's an absolute must-win game.
Yeah.
If we're not winning this, we'll only avoid relegation by luck.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's hard, isn't it? Because we've...
Well, then we go and beat Barnsley, I know.
Exactly. Well, that's what's happened, is we've beaten teams that we haven't expected to beat, and we've lost to teams that we think we should be beating.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one that that you would always look at and think that's somewhere to pick up some points,
Yeah. And obviously, if we get 3 points Saturday, well, even if we get a draw, that puts us into the 40s.
Yep. Yes.
So the incentive's there for everyone.
I think you just don't. I think you want more than a. I think you want more than a draw.
Oh, I agree.
And I mean, if it is a draw, you want a really kind of like incentivized kind of performance. With like you want to see the best players starting if they're fit. Do you mean? And like, I don't know. Where's Milenic Ali?
Still injured, I believe.
Oh, yes. So Colwell mentioned that. He's like not far away, right?
Right.
As is.
Yeah.
Admiral Musquay.
Oh, really?
Not far away.
And he'll come back, will he?
Yeah. Get him in there.
If he ever plays a game in a City shirt again, I'll be amazed.
Give him some minutes. Give him a run out.
Don't give him a run out.
Give him a run out.
He's hurt himself again.
Look, you don't know what he's capable of. None of us do.
None of us do. Is that right? Musquay.
Yeah. So that means, if the rest of all these other players aren't fit, maybe he is.
Good grief. Okay. All right, well, we're not going to see him on Saturday, presumably.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. But you never know.
Never know.
Ben Purrington is back. We didn't mention that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that's good to see.
That's good, yeah.
And obviously, he's an excellent player to have in the team.
Yeah. I think wherever he came from, was it Charlton fans going, oh, he's a 7 out of 10 every week kind of player?
Yeah.
And that looks about, I'm not sure 7, but maybe 6, every single week. So far, we've barely seen him. But it looks like, yeah, I can see that. Do you mean like that?
To paraphrase Rihanna, if you're hanging out in a pile of manure, you can shine like a diamond.
Wait, what?
If he's being 7 out of 10 or even 6 out of 10.
Okay.
But the rest are 2s and 3s.
Right, yeah, okay, I get it, yeah. Right, yeah.
He looks like Pele.
He does look exactly like Pele.
There you go, exactly.
Maybe you could advertise Viagra.
Don't think he needs to.
How do you know?
He's virile enough, he told me.
Oh, Ben Purrington?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Hope so.
I neither have hope towards or against his virility. I just hope he can put in a performance against Fleetwood.
That is the main thing, isn't it? Yeah.
Gary, a 3-0 would go a long way to redressing the balance.
We just desperately need it. I mean, we're like so thirsty for that.
Yeah.
For a
tonking.
Emphatic St James Park victory. Do you mean like the supporters are like gasping for it?
We kept turning out.
Everyone keeps coming.
Yeah.
You've got to just go for it.
Let Easter start the game. Give him an hour.
Unleash them.
Unleash
the boys.
Yeah.
Yep. Put Mo Issa in there from the start. I know he started one the other day, and but put him. He scored when he started him. Stick him in from the start. If he has to come off, maybe we can get ahead before he has to come off.
Well, quite. Yeah.
Get Musquay on. Get him on.
Yeah.
Put on a display for us. Put
on a display.
Put on a show.
And Dan will
like the Red Arrows.
Dan will be at Loftus Road. So
yeah, but I'd happily take it. I'd be pleased for you and for all the other attending supporters.
Thank you.
If it was just like, even if I'm not there, I still would want it to happen.
Yeah.
And that's just the kind of person I am.
That's just magnanimous of you. wish Gary was more magnanimous with his forward passes.
Come on, Gary. I don't know.
Yeah, and then, if we win and we get 42 points, and I don't want to count my chickens before they're scored, that just feels like, okay, we're on the downhill now. We're over the hump. We can get 9 more points here.
Yeah.
That would feel entirely doable. It's still February, innit? It'll still be February come Saturday. You're giving yourselves 2 full months.
Oh, you feel a lot, but yeah, I think that's just what we need to kind of give us the kind of impetus to kind of get, to get over the hump, as you say.
Get that goal average below -20, above whatever it is.
Yeah, get it in the minus teens.
Minus teens.
And then we'll all be pleased. Yeah, we just need how long has it been?
I don't know. It feels longer because it's been so bad.
Because it was
there's been 2 good victories, hasn't there?
Have we won 3-0?
I don't remember there being a 3-0.
What was the score in the first game of the season?
4-1.
No, we never scored 4.
Didn't we?
No chance.
Might have.
Nah. 3 absolute tops.
3 tops. Well, anyway, I just, come on, lads. It would just be a joyous thing. No, it was 3-0. You're right. It was Wickham 3-0.
Yes.
First game of the season. We thought, what a season we got ahead of us. How naive. How foolish.
It was foolish. We've seen a lot of goals. Just none of them have been scored by us.
Well, indeed.
Since then, we haven't scored 3 again.
No.
We've not scored more than 2 since that game, the first day of the season.
Yeah. But you're right, we've conceded many, so...
We're not actually that low down in the conceded. I think we're about 8th in goals conceded.
But we haven't scored any, have we?
But we haven't scored any goals. I think we're second bottom. Shrewsbury are the only team that scored less goals than us.
Who'd have thought Bowman up front?
And they got Bowman up front. And some of you wanted him back.
Yeah.
You thought he was the answer to our, striking problems. Whereas the more shrewd among us know that the answer to that question is Admiral Musgrave.
Yeah, if Admiral Musgrave is the answer, what is the question?
It's who is the world's greatest footballer?
There he is. Since the death of Pele, who is the world's greatest footballer?
I reckon he's better than Pele.
Better than Pele?
Yeah.
We don't know. I mean, he looked good for those 3 minutes. But...
Better than Pele ever been.
Wow. All right. Thanks very much, Admiral, for gracing us with your presence, briefly.
He'll be back.
Apparently so. Close.
He's coming.
All right, well, thanks for listening,
Storm's
everyone.
coming, and the Admiral is the man to guide us through it.
You're mixing your metaphors. Are we the storm or are we the boat?
We're the storm.
So we don't want that. You should have said the storm is coming and its name is Admiral Musgrave.
That doesn't work.
Oh, I don't know. None of it works.
Storm Admiral. That would be confusing for people, wouldn't it?
It would be.
I thought, haven't they got to be named after isn't it a female name they have to have?
No, man and woman. It alternates, doesn't it?
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Right.
This week, Admiral. Next week, Betty.
Yeah.
Then Carl. Then Davina.
Yeah.
Then Eric. Then Francesca.
Can't we just name them after Exeter City players? They could go through all the football teams.
They could. Arbroath first.
Storm Gary. Anyway, Musgrave.
Yeah, good. He's back. Yeah, good. What a relief. Okay. I think that's probably it for now, isn't it?
I think so. I mean, how much? Like I said, how much can you even say about this absolute snooze fest of a football team?
Yeah, but do consider both supporters and Gary doing the horse move and whinnying. Do consider that, please.
It's worth a try.
It'll lead us back to Whinnying Ways.
He could do that at the end of the match. Rather than coming up to Big Bank and applauding, he'd come up and rear up in front of Big Bank.
He could. We could get him a little podium like at the circus.
Yeah, that's cruel, I think, though.
It's only cruel if you make like an actual horse do it. If it's a man pretending to be a horse, he's got his own free will.
The RSPCA will be down.
No, they don't respond to people who look like animals, just actual animals.
Oh, okay, right. Okay, fine. Peter.
The Scottish embassy might have something to say about it, but that's a different matter.
Yeah, who's in charge of like workers' rights department for work and
DWP
pensions?
Scotland?
Yeah.
They'd be livid.
Well, I'd be livid with them for thinking.
Yeah, this man should be on the dole.
What have he sent us this?
he could maybe file some paper, I suppose. Yeah.
All right.
Getting painted some flags. Thanks for listening, everyone. My name's John, who my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.